What is going on, gang? Today I've got a one of my designs. It's called the Raptora, or Raptera. I can't remember what we called it. I got the name written down somewhere. Not important, but wanted to check the Rockwell on this. It's been a few days since I've used this machine, so I'm going to put my 63 block in there, and we're going to make sure it's still reading 63. First and foremost. And if it ain't, we'll make some adjustments and we'll do that live. That way you'll see what we have to do to it. Not a very crazy process to get it back to 63. If it's, say it's 62, 61, whatever. You know, it's a couple little screws. Make some adjustments. Some people like to turn the dial even, and there's nothing wrong with that either. You can, like I'll show you here in a second, maybe. So that's reading 62, maybe 62 and a half. Yeah, let's show you that. So move it to the 63. That's 63 even. Yeah, I had to turn it a half a point. And then we go back in here. Maybe I'll hit a spot that I haven't tested yet. See if that works. Yeah, so that's 63 on the money. And that's all you'd really have to do to like zero it out exactly. But there's two little screws up here, and if you don't want to turn your dial, if you want to leave your dial alone, you make your adjustments up here. It's like a recalibration type thing. But that is 63 on the dot. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and test it like this. It's just my needle is about a half a point off from being zero with the C now. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, most people's needles are way off.
Yeah.
When I calibrated this one, I wanted it straight up and down. So we'll test it on the flat. We got a nice flat up here. This is an 8-day Coca-Cola bath finish. Nice and thin, and sexy behind the edge too. Just I think what was we 60, 61, something like that is what we were getting.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember.
One of them I think was 59. One of them was
a little higher.
A little higher. I don't remember which was which.
This one was the one that was higher.
Okay.
That's reading 59 right there. The steel that I'm using on this model right here is put this block up here for me, like this paracord. That's kind of made it hard. Yeah, now we can get over here closer to the edge. If this one comes up at 59, you know, see what I did there. Magic tricks. This one comes up at 59. What I'm going to do is I'm going to recalibrate it. I had to back up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in knife making mode, not knife checking mode. 59. Okay. Alright, my needle is at, that's weird. Okay. My needle's up and down at 0. If this is still testing 63, then I just got a 59 HRC knife. Thought it was 60, 61.
Your red shirt is making it look like you got a glowing red light in your dial right now.
Really? That sucks.
No, I mean it's still visible. Like it just
Yeah.
looks like it's got a red light.
We're still at 63, so okay. We just got a 59 HRC knife. Not that's okay. I mean it's a high carbon steel. It's 59. I'm sorry.
51.
15 and 20.
There we go.
It's a counterpart to like the 10 series steels to make Damascus. But this is just 15 and 20 by itself. This one didn't have a burnt edge, so I don't know if you'll notice. We'll take it to the tabletop and we'll talk about it. How about that? Okay, so that's the Raptora, and this is like a prototype. It had some bad spots. You can see here. There's a bad spot there, which I cut this out of a saw blade. What I really want to do is I want to get some 15 and 20 bar stock that's about the same thickness, if not just a little bit thicker. I had a burnt tip, so like I took care of that, but there is like a slight. Is that thing zoomed in? Okay. Yeah, it was a slight something going on with the tip there. So anyway, it kind of like comes up, you know, instead of like having like a nice straight sheep's foot, which is what I was shooting for. But it is sharp, and it's 7 3/4 overall. It's got a 3-inch cutting edge, a 3.5-inch blade. And this is kind of my take on the Montana Knife Company knife, the Speedgoat, the little knife. Courtney really likes it. So does my brother. Like, if it's one knife that my brother carries every day, it is the Montana Knife Speedgoat. So like, I mean, I didn't try to like copy the design, but you know, like make something around the same size
Like
that's comparable.
ADC size,
Yeah,
lighter
ADC.
weight, thinner.
And it is heavier than the Speedgoat, but not by much, man.
And most of that's probably in handle. This does have a wider handle.
It does have a wider handle. It does. It definitely does. Which I prefer personally, but Courtney might not, and I don't know about Michael yet. But yeah, I mean this knife feels superb in hand too, though. Like I really like the. If I didn't like the knife, I wouldn't be inspired by it. But I am inspired by the Speedgoat for a small fixed blade EDC type of knife. This is 52-100, and it is cryo, and I want to say it is 61 HRC. They do make this knife in Magna Cut as well, but this one, and it's parkerized finish. This one is 52-100 ball bearing steel. So that's that. I've had a lot of people ask me about, am I going to have anything that's carryable, since you know this is the amygdala, and we are not set up great today, but that's okay.
You said you were in knife making mode.
I'm in knife making mode. I'm not in video mode, but I did just want to like let y'all know about it. You know, like both of these knives are just they're kind of spoken for. You know, hell, me and Courtney may end up keeping them ourselves. The other one is going to have a rock pattern. And the reason was because I kind of screwed up on the bevels, and like this bevel's not perfect. You can tell like it's not exactly perfect, and that's especially on this side. This side's got more flaws, but it is hand ground, and it's it's fine.
I like it.
Where's our scale at?
It is. I just seen it. Where'd I-
And on the solution in the sheath, I'm probably going to go with what Michael usually carries his in. I thought, anyway. Like, he's got a little leather wrap sheath. But this is the sheath he let me borrow this when we were borrowing it through the HRC. But this knife, stupid light, man. 1.6 ounces. That's a Speedgoat. 2.6 ounces or 2.5 ounces. So just about an ounce heavier, which is still lightweight to me, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could probably shave some of that off, but I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it. 2.5 ounces is nothing. It's still like a featherweight to me. But grinds ain't perfect. But you should be able to do this all day. 52-100 is a high carbon steel. I'm
15
sorry,
and 20.
15 and 20. It's also a nickel steel. So it's corrosion. It's not corrosion resistant. You know, it'll rust, but it's if it'll take a patina, it'll rust, right? But the thing is, it's not as bad. It doesn't rust as fast and as aggressive as ADCRV2. And
Yeah, the ADCRV2 around here does.
something. Yeah, it's the devil. But that's it, man. I just wanted to kind of introduce it to you. Depending on where I get the steel at and stuff like that, if anybody's got any interest in them, I should be able to make these. Please don't quote me just yet. You know, especially without without a sheath. Like, I should be able to make these and sell them for around, what did we say? I think it's, if we keep on using saw blades, I think we could do like 75, but if we buy bar stock, I want to say it's going to be like around $100 a piece, something like that. That's with paracord, you know, with no sheath. So I'll figure out what we're going to do on the sheath thing. And
as far as the paracord goes, like, I know there's people that like the paracord just raw like it is, because then you can actually use it if you need to. And then there's others that prefer it epoxied.
Yeah.
So like
Jed's.
that would be like a preference, I guess. But epoxy, of course, isn't free either. So
Yeah. When Jed did this paracord wrap, it's just not just paracord. He's got some sort of twine. You know, this black stuff's like twine. I think that red stuff's like a paracord.
Yeah, that's
Hell, I
paracord
may be
over
wrong, man. I don't know. But like this, you ain't unwrapping this knife. It's been epoxied.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't.
So there would be no like survival use
No.
for the paracord if it's epoxied. But there are people that like it epoxied just because they don't have to worry about it ever unraveling.
Right.
So
I like how slicey this thing is.
yeah.
Speaking of which, I mean, we can say it all day, but we might as well zero out our calipers and just check things out. But it's got a crown spine, by the way. Blade stock is 564. I don't like that number. What's 564? Tell me. What is 564? No. Nowhere near quarter.
No.
What's 564? Ever told you about anything when it comes to math? It's 2 millimeters and 0.0785, so about a 0.08 blade stock, or 7.5, 0.075. Anyway, behind the edge, this one actually is a little thicker behind the edge than the other one. I was just trying 2 different methods.
Yeah.
But behind the edge, this is hard to do on the camera. 0.02. Oh, just a second. Let me make sure I didn't slip off.
There you go. I think you did.
0.0495. That sounds about right. So it's, yeah.
I was thinking it looked like you were up higher.
So it is a little, there's a little kitchen slicier. I'm slipping. Yeah. Okay, so it's about 4.5
behind the edge.
Yeah, something like that, man. And I'm happy with it as far as a user for slicing and stuff like that goes. And we'll keep in touch with you about. We're not exactly ready to just produce them, and you know I want to do some testing with this steel, you know, and see how well it holds up, and actually see how well it does hold an edge.
Yeah.
Hear a lot of different stuff. You know, it's not a very popular knife steel, so there's not a whole lot of information out there from people that have tested stuff over time.
If it isn't in Damascus, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not in Damascus, we don't really know much about it because we don't, I mean, I'm not saying it ain't never been used. It's just not something that's not used very commonly. But there are people.
Day, yeah.
Lovelace used it a little bit. Wasn't all he used. He used a bunch of, but like he did use some 15-inch 20. There was another name out there, Winkler. I want to say used some 15-inch 20 at some point in his day. So a lot of your older heads
have used it, yeah.
Yeah, have used this still at one point. And one of the biggest reasons is because you could get a lot of it for cheap, man, and it was a good steel. Like those saw blades, those two people saw blades that.
And they've got huge circular blades too
that are
15 and 20 that they use in sawmills. I seen that on Marketplace where there was a bunch of them.
Okay.
So.
Well, Courtney, that's it, man. You got anything to add about it? You got anything to say at all?
No, other than I like these little ones. Like they're more my style of carry than the big chunky ones. But
right.
Unless I'm going to be out, I know I'm going to be chopping wood or hacking my way through some.
No, every knife isn't supposed to be
right.
I mean, like if you were to catch some fish and need to process it,
right,
or
that would be great for filleting some fish.
Yeah, it wouldn't
stuff.
be a bad fish fillet knife. I mean, there's better fish fillet knives. Like Raptora makes an electric one, right?
No, yeah, but I mean, you still got to have a regular knife, even when you use the electric knife to cut out the guts and stuff.
Yeah. So stuff like that. So it would be a pretty decent utility knife, man. All right, that's it, dude. These are for testing. Like I said, these two knives, me and Courtney will probably be using them. If you have a channel, you want to check it out, you want to use it, hit us up, man. Not a huge deal. But we're going to do a little bit of testing. We got to figure out the sheath solution. I think I'm just going to do leather and probably leave about this much hanging out. And it's just going to be one of those taco sheaths. And then we'll probably, if everything works out right, along the welt, we'll poke some holes in it, use the same paracord, tie it up.
Yeah.
We'll probably have to epoxy that. But like you wouldn't want to take your sheath apart anyway. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for watching.